What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Blessings, everybody. My name is Rashay, and welcome to my channel, Chay Unfiltered. Now, guys, I know I'm super late. I really do. I know that we've already made it to the finale. We already know who gets married, although I haven't watched the episode yet, so please, no spoilers in the comments. But this season of Love is Blind has been way too juicy for me to not make a commentary. So that's what we're going to do. Over the next few days, I'm going to drop a few videos. I'm going to do episodes 1 to 6 for this video, then I'm going to do 7 to 9, and then lastly, we'll do 10 to 12. So we'll be all caught up right in time for the reunion. Okay? Now, first thoughts. I initially skipped that first trailer because I don't know about you guys, but that genuinely pisses me off. They give away way too much information in that first trailer, and I feel like I can see who makes it to Mexico, who goes to the altar to potentially get married. So it doesn't really leave like an element of surprise for me. So I skipped over that. But I do love that they started the episode with the guy singing, you know, ain't no mountain high enough. Because that is my song. Karaoke, that'd be my jam. But the guys are always so fun and bubbly, I find, on these seasons. They always get along. It's usually the girls that you'll deal with more like pettiness and like, you know, talking behind each other's backs. But I mean, what else is new? They tend to say that us women can't get along. Although I don't think that personally. I feel like I vibe with who I vibe with. If you're consistently not getting along with women, I think you need to evaluate yourself because you're the common denominator in that sense. But again, I digress. But I will say the women this season are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. They're all so pretty. And not to say that the guys aren't good looking. I just feel like they're not my cup of tea. So like, meh. And I feel like I felt that way over all the seasons, really. There's only maybe like one or two people that kind of stood out to me, but I felt like the guys were pretty like not really my cup of tea. And guys, I deem myself a little bit shallow, so I feel like I couldn't do an experiment like this because no, I need to know what you look like. I'm sorry, that's just me. Um, but there are a lot of Black women this season, which was really refreshing and nice to see. I do hope that they give some more Asian representation though going forward, because I feel like there may be like one or two Asian girls or like one or two Asian guys, but their stories don't ever really get shown. So I wish they would do that. But I do know that Black women's experience on the show is not always the greatest, so I was a little bit skeptical to see whose story would be shown and exactly like how that would go. Um, and there were two Ashleys on this season, although I knew from the beginning that only one Ashley was going to make it forward. But Ashley W did kill me with the W stands for wife. Period. Period. One thing I will say about the season 2 that I really really love is that the cast is older. Like I feel like anything under 30 is too young to be getting married, especially blindly, because I just feel like you're not mature enough, or you know, you might not be where you want to be in life to really be making a big commitment such as marriage. Like I got married at 27, which some people would still consider young, but I try to think back to when I was 24. There was no way that I could get married. They wouldn't even have the brain capacity to think of that. So I'm glad that this cast is older and a little bit more mature. So I think they should keep that going forward, because I know like Love is Blind season 1 for UK was older too, and that seemed to go relatively well. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each couple. So I'm going to go from the pod straight to Mexico. I feel like that's the best way for me to kind of organize my thoughts. So I'm going to go per couple, and we're going to see how that goes. All right, let's start with Brittany and Leo. Boy, do I have a lot to say here. First of all, starting with Brittany, bless her soul, she thinks she's still single because she likes to chase fun. Ma'am, you're still single because it's not giving wife. You only know how to make a smoothie. So I'm sorry. That got nothing, your fun has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that you're not portraying traits that I can be a wife. She did also mention she wants to be a trophy wife, so she doesn't plan to cook and clean or work or do anything like that. Brittany wants a rich man, and I'm assuming that's exactly why her and Leo hit it off to begin with. But it's insane to me because Leo constantly says, I don't want to be with a woman that only wants me for my money. But then on the other hand, this man never stops talking about his money. Like literally never stops talking about his money. I say all the time that he reminds me of Clay from season 6. I literally said, Nobody. Clay. My daddy cheated on my mama. Nobody. Leo. I have so much money. I inherited so much money. Like, be so for real, sir. Clearly you want somebody that wants you for your money if you don't stop talking about it. That just doesn't make sense to me. And is it just me, or did Leo always find a way to tell Brittany she's stupid? Like, this man always said, I feel like people think you're dumb because of how you look and how you sound, but you're really smart. That sounded like a backhanded compliment to me. That doesn't sound like an actual compliment. You're basically telling me that I'm stupid. And he said it multiple times over several different conversations. So I'm just like, okay, this man's trying to call this woman stupid repeatedly. But I mean, overall, I feel like the relationship was super superficial. Like, you start off being mad at the man for asking you what type of ring you want, and you got mad because he's not only asking you, he's also asking somebody else. But the minute the man was able to lay out the exact ring you want, shape, color, size, whatever, you're automatically like, I don't feel as mad anymore. No, 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 man. This is like your guys' relationship. I really don't understand. I don't know why this kept going. I really don't. Like, Leo's indecisiveness, I can understand being indecisive because it's a big decision, but I feel like he knew from the jump who he wanted to pick, and he just kept stringing the conversations along. I don't know why it kept going. And it could be production, to be honest with you. If you guys haven't yet watched Cameron and Lauren from season 1, they have a podcast, and they had Amber and Barnett from season 1 on there. And Barnett spoke to that. He said that they basically made him drag out his relationship with LC for, content purposes, or to like portray like some type of drama going on, or like to show that he was indecisive. But he really wasn't. He was going to pick Amber, but they made him string that relationship along. So it could be the same way with Leo and Brittany. I have zero idea. But let's get into the reveal. Guys, I need you to look at this girl's body language. She's so scared of this man. Like, I don't know. She did not like what she's seen from the jump. And then he's like trying to kiss her and like grabbing her and holding her tight. And she's like trying to literally push back from this man. She was terrified. I was on the border, like verge of being like, Brittany, blink twice, girl. Blink twice, please, if you need help. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they clearly didn't make it to Mexico, and for good reasons. Although Netflix dropped the ball on that, because for the simple fact that Leo was also talking to Hannah, they should have had them go, so that they had that little like, okay, I almost proposed to Hannah, or I wanted to be with Hannah. I get to see what she looks like. They kind of dropped the ball, I feel like, on that for a show that likes to promote drama, but whatever. And then the girl's talking about, oh, if we don't go to Mexico, can we go to Miami? Okay, so 1, you knew you weren't going to Mexico. And then 2, what you going to Miami with him for, girl? You don't like that man. Like, I don't know, guys. Next, let's talk about Taylor and Garrett. Honestly, guys, I don't have much notes here. I feel like they're one of the stronger couples on this season. I feel like they're going to make it far. I liked them off the bat, and I feel like they kind of clicked on this like nerdy love, which I feel like is good, because you can connect with somebody and have like similar likes and, have things in common more on like a surface level. But I feel like if deep down within your personality you guys are alike, that goes a long way in terms of something like a marriage. And yes, opposites can attract, but for example, if I am like a super like science geek and I like to make science jokes, if I'm with somebody who was like maybe a jock in high school, wasn't really like a science geek as you would call, you may not get my little jokes, and then it's kind of like you're just laughing to be nice, or like I have to explain to you why the joke is funny, and then now the joke's not funny anymore. Like, I feel like having that little, similarity there in terms of personality and like quirkiness is really good. So I do feel like they connected on that. The Shrek comment caught me off guard, because I was like, boy, where are you going with this? But once he explained it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I like the Shrek movie, so like I don't feel like that was a bad thing to say. And like, I don't know up until this point what date number that was, but girl, he don't know you. So how's he supposed to know what movie would remind you of him or whatever? So anyways, but one thing that pointed or stuck out to me about their relationship that I was like, is when Taylor was like, I'm not going to say my mom's first name because I don't want to give away my ethnicity. And it was like Garrett's reaction. Now, I understand why she did that. This is Love is Blind. You're not even supposed to have any idea of what I look like, so the experiment is completely blind. But for his reaction to be like, oh, I feel like you're being calculated, and then proceeding to say, I've only ever dated white girls, it's giving, I don't want to date outside my race. It's giving, I want to continue to date white girls, and that's why I'm like upset right now and trying to make a big deal out of this. And I didn't really like that, because I was like, sir, it was never that serious. Anyways, they moved past it. I'm glad. Whatever. Their reveal, not much notes, really cute. They definitely seem to like each other. And clearly he's not upset at the fact that she's Asian. So all in all, I'm happy for them. No issues there, no comments there. Now, for Marissa and Ramses, so I'm going to loop it. I'm going to say Marissa and Ramses and Marissa and Bohdan, just because she was talking to two different guys. So one thing I will say about Marissa is she's very bubbly, has a lot of energy, which is great, but can really get annoying after a while. So it's interesting to see where that's going to take her in terms of her personality, as I feel like I know people like that. And it can be a little bit much. Like, I'm a bubbly person too, but like I also know when to kind of like tone it down and be more chill as well. She doesn't seem to have that switch. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But I feel like her and Bohdan did really well. Like, I feel like he was the better match for her, but because she wants to escape, military men and that military mentality, I feel like she used it against him and didn't really allow that connection to grow more. Even though they connected on so many different things, they have so many things in common. I feel like she focused it way too heavy on the military thing. And it was kind of like up for him at that point. With Ramses, I feel like because she was trying to get away from that like toxic masculinity that's within the military, him being more like sensitive and open with his emotions and explaining himself, it kind of drew her to him. And I mean, the minute this guy said, I'm a Cancer, Leo, it seemed like this girl had tunnel vision, and it's like at that point I knew it was up for Bohdan. He was getting no play after that. Now, this could be editing. It couldn't be that he said that and then all of a sudden she's like, that's my man. It could be editing, because we know how these shows are. But yeah, I just feel like she didn't give Bohdan a fair chance just because of his military background. But regardless, I think Marissa and Ramses do have a good connection. Like, I'm not upset there. They do seem to like each other. From the reveal, no notes. They seem to really like each other. That chemistry, that attraction and tension is there. Mexico now. Those two are horny. Okay? Like, Marissa, we didn't need to know all that information, but those two are horny. Okay, yes, you're attracted to each other. The physical connection is there, as well as the emotional. All kudos to you guys. But one thing I will say about them is they remind me of me and my husband a little bit, in the sense that, like, that's my best friend, and we be spilling the tea. Really. So the fact that the minute they got back to the room after the meetup, they were kind of just like, okay, what are your thoughts on this couple, that couple, da 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 da. Like, that's something me and my husband would do. We love to spill tea and stuff like that. But I think overall, they're one of the stronger or better couples thus far. Okay, on to my not favorite couple, but favorite to hate couple. Hannah and Nick. Now, I am going to mention a little bit of Hannah and Leo, because of course she was talking to two guys up until one point. But one thing first I want to say about Hannah is I feel like she showed us who she was from the jump if we paid attention. In the very opening of the episode, she said that I wanted to come do this. My job wouldn't give me the time off, so I quit my job to be here. Now, it seems innocent, but I feel like that was just one example of, like, it's Hannah's way or it's the highway. So I feel like she kind of showed us who she was from the beginning, but we didn't know that we were supposed to pay attention to that, right? I do find it funny that her and Nick clicked, because they are the youngest ones on the cast. So it's just funny how they got linked up together. Although, do we call it fate? Do we call it production? Because they be influencing people to go towards certain individuals. So who knows, right? But I do think it was funny that they came together. Initially, Hannah and Leo seemed like they were a good fit. They had good conversations that flowed. So I wasn't really sure which way she was gonna go. She kind of clicked with both of them. But I do think that she had more fun talking to Nick. And I don't know if that's just because they were younger. They could connect on a little bit more things. Not to say that Leo's that much older than her, but I feel like they talked about football and all that stuff. She could relate to that. Whereas like Leo's an art dealer, and she even mentioned herself, she has no idea what that even really means. So, but with that being said, Hannah and Nick did really only talk about a lot of superficial stuff. He talked about how he was a football player. She talked about how she was a cheerleader. She dated the quarterback. So like they had perceptions of each other. Hannah thought this man was fine, and he thought this girl was hot because of just the personalities that they have and what they were in like high school. They were popular. So they were already kind of forming their own image of each other in there. As well as he said he looks like Travis Kelce, or he looks like Henry Cavill, or stuff like that. So I'm like, this is just a repeat of Chelsea from last season. Yeah, from last season. I look like Megan Fox. Like, guys, please stop comparing yourselves to celebrities. You don't look like them. Just move on and stop talking about looks in a show that's not supposed to be about looks. Like, what do we not understand about this? I don't know. But Hannah would literally say, I don't know. I just think Nick is going to ruin my life. But that's the love of my life. Girl, why would you want to marry somebody that you constantly say you think is going to ruin your life? Like, can someone make that make sense for me? But I do feel like she let the girls influence her a lot. Like, she's the youngest. They wanted to, they babied her a lot, and they wanted to give her guidance. She's the youngest out of all of them. So I do feel like she let them influence her decision. And then that in turn made her go and break up with Nick, even though she kept saying that's the love of my life. But I don't know. I think you're going to hurt me. But how do you know that? Because I'll say this. Nick does come off as Mr. Suave or, thing, but I feel like that's just part of his persona and his personality. We don't know what this man went through in school. Yes, he said he played football, but he could have got bullied. He could have not been that popular, and he built up this confidence, so he tries to protrude that confidence when he's talking to women. And I just feel like they didn't peel enough of the layers back for her to actually find out who he really is inside. And because he put forth that persona, people just wrote him off. So I don't really think that was fair. Like, I think a little bit more digging needed to happen there. But Hannah only called Nick back because she found out that Brittany's talking to Leo. And even though Leo does not know what Hannah and Brittany look like, I feel like Hannah, being insecure as she mentioned, got in her head and was like, okay, Brittany's a smoke show. So like Leo's probably going to pick her, because I don't know if they're talking about looks in there and stuff like that. He may know that she's pretty, or again, girls with that typical girly voice, people usually think that they're very pretty and, prim and proper and stuff. So she probably is thinking that. So that's one reason she called Nick back. And I frankly feel like for Nick, he should have just been like, girl, bye, because you broke up with me and now you want to call me back for what reason? But that's just me. I guess I ain't nobody's second choice. I ain't nobody's, calling me back. Like, if you wanted me from jump, you would have made that clear. Like, but whatever. Now, Hannah dodged an entire, when I say an entire barrage of bullets with Leo, because that man is a psychopath. Y'all can't tell me that man's not a psycho. He got in them pods and heard Hannah was going to break up with him, and this man proceeded to berate the girl and yell at her. But yet you're just telling Brittany you haven't made up your mind yet. You're not going to tell nobody you love them until you make up your mind. But you're over here literally spewing all of that to Hannah now because she's going to break up with you. And then the next day want to backtrack and be like, oh yeah, you and Nick are perfect for each other, and I want to be with Brittany, and can you talk to her for me? And sir, please be so for real. And I'm so happy that Hannah was blunt with him, like, yeah, I know me and Nick are good together. That's what I told you yesterday. And no, I'm not going to talk to Brittany because that ain't none of my business. Period. Period. Because what? Oh my goodness. Like, I'm telling you, when I was watching that scene, my jaw was on the floor and I was like fuming. And I was like, Hannah, if you pick this man or even keep talking to this man, like, you're stupid. Because there's, again, absolutely no way. Anyways, moving on to the reveal. Guys, Hannah did not like what she's seen. I really need you guys to look at it. She did not like that. This girl was upset. She had this perception in her head about this man. She thought this man was sexy. He said he looked like Henry Cavill. He looked like Travis Kelce, or better than Travis Kelce. And he ain't look like none of that. And he's a lot smaller than she thought. Like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. Hannah was mad. Like, I couldn't. But Mexico is where Hannah needs to chill, bro. Hannah needs to chill. There's nothing wrong with Nick wanting to ride the ducks on the beach. There's literally absolutely nothing wrong with that. What I will say though is he definitely should have shut down that lady when she's like, oh, your girl's just jealous. Don't be jealous. Shut that down. Because first of all, who are you? And don't say that because you don't know my girl or nothing. And that's going to piss your girl off. That would have pissed me off too. So I feel like he should have shut that down. But I feel like Hannah's being too like hard. What do you mean him riding the ducks is going to give you the ick and all that? Like, I feel like she just constantly picks at him and picks at him and picks at him and makes these little jabs, and he just takes it, but like it's not really nice or fair to him for him to be continuously taking that. And Hannah knows she's dead wrong for leaving that list out for this man to find with all those things that she's questioning about him and then calling him Delulu when, girl, you're Delulu. Like, let's be so for real. She was so wrong for that, and it just proves to me why I think she's immature and not ready for this type of thing. But yeah, I had a lot to say about those two because that relationship, like, it shouldn't have even made it past the pods. Like, I don't even think she should have said yes to nobody. She should have just called it a day and went home. Like, I just feel like this was forced for TV, but we will see. Monica and Steven. Okay, these two. Monica's better than me, I'll say that, because Steven would have lost me at I voted for Trump. It's unfortunate. He did correct himself afterwards, but he would have lost me at I voted for Trump. Okay? Sorry, sir. I will say it was very funny him finding out that he's like 156th black or one part, whatever, Nigerian, as South African, West African, whatever. That was funny to me because this man looks nowhere near like he's black. So I can understand why he thought he was white his whole life, because, sir, technically you are white, or white passing if we want to call you that now. But I felt like it made him a little bit too comfortable getting up here on TV calling a black woman a mutt. I'm sorry. Is that not racist, or am I reading too much into it? I feel like that's racist to call somebody a mutt. And then big dummy Monica, oh yeah, I am a mutt. Girl, don't condone what he said. Like, what? Okay. Next thing about Steven is he admitting to being a cheater, right? And I was kind of just like, Monica, no, he's not too hard on himself. He needs to be harder on himself. It doesn't matter what kind of cheating it was. He admitted to being a cheater. Because some people think that physical cheating is worse than emotional cheating, and I have a lot of opinions on that. So maybe that'll be one of my first girl talk topics, but I have a lot of opinions on that. But cheating is cheating. So she should have took that for what it was. That should have been a ding against him. It should have been in her little notepad, and she should have remembered that. Because on the reveal, guys, I feel like I'm saying this for every couple, but Monica, is it just me? Did she look scared? Monica looks scared to me. Like, she tried to hide it under her smile, but she looks scared to me. Like, I don't think she liked what Steven looked like. And then she's sitting up there talking about, oh, he cute. Oh, you are cute. Oh, no. And it's something about the way people kiss. If you kiss me and your entire mouth is covering, like, eating my face and my lips, no. I think that's so gross. I hate watching people who kiss like that. I'm sorry. And that's the vibe I got from Monica and Steven. I felt like he was eating her entire face. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much other notes about the reveal, but Monica did look very scared in the beginning there. Onto Mexico. I feel like Monica kept trying to tell us that I don't care if Steven is a plumber or whatever, and he didn't go to college, and you know, he's the sexiest guy to me because I love him, and da-da-da. And I was like, are you trying to convince me or yourself? Because you're definitely not convincing me. It clearly bothers you the way that you keep talking about it and keep repeating it. So I think she was trying to convince herself, because she definitely wasn't convincing me or the rest of the audience. Their little acupuncture thing was cute. Although that boner conversation went on way too long and it was getting very annoying, and I was over, and I was like, please move on. Why are we talking about this so much? But then, as we see, Steven likes to talk about this stuff way too much. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to say about them is that, like, for Monica to tell Steven to shut up, basically, and then proceed to have nothing to say but sit there and eat her chips was actually kind of rude. Although Steven does talk a lot, and the show is edited, so I don't know if the amount of talking we've seen was already edited down to how much he was actually talking. But I'm also going to give him the benefit of the doubt because for the last 10 days, girl, until he proposed to you, all he could do was talk to you in the pots. That's all you guys could do. You couldn't look at each other or see each other. So, like, he's going to talk. But I do feel like it was rude for her to, like, cut him off like that and then proceed to have nothing to say. Like, girl, come on. Let the man talk. Like, it was never that serious. Tim and Alex, the birds and the bees. I never liked him. Like, I just, he gave toxic from the moment he made that yellow shirt comment. You bought the yellow shirt because your ex hated the color yellow. That told me all I needed to know about you. It told me all I needed to know about you. So you definitely gave toxic just from there. Like, you're acting like a child. I'm sorry. I don't have much to say about these two in terms of in the pods because I feel like all Tim did was trauma dump. And it was just a lot. Every conversation you and Alex had was about the fact that your older sisters died and what life's been like after that and how you want to give your parents another daughter by marrying her. Like, it's giving you're trying to replace your sisters instead of getting a wife, but I don't know. He just did too much of that. Like, every time we saw Alex on the screen, my girl was crying. At this point, stop doing your makeup, stop putting on your lashes, stop doing that because all you're going to do is wipe all of that off because all Tim makes you do is cry. Like, I really needed him to stop doing that. Now, on Alex's side, she did mention something about her parents both having, I think it was Alzheimer's, Parkinson's? No, MS. MS. And she made a comment about, like her dad being married and her stepmom basically when his MS got worse, taking care of him and sticking by his side. But then when her mom's MS, her mom was never married, or after their parents divorced, her mom only had a boyfriend. And when her MS got bad, he up and left her. And she was like, that always made her see like the importance of marriage and stuff like that. And I feel like it's giving her a very distorted view on marriage because, while it happened that way and I can understand where she's like getting that thought process from, I feel like that speaks more towards that stepmom's character than it does to like marriage versus not marriage. And even just with like men and women are a lot more likely to stick beside somebody and a man's usually more likely to leave, especially in the Black community. So I feel like it was a little bit more of that versus the fact that one was married and one was not. But I kind of see where she was coming from with that. Tim and Alex's reel, I feel like was okay for the most part. Like he said, I knew it. I knew you was fine. So he obviously thought she was attractive. But he made that reveal so awkward with that dog thing. She told you she doesn't like the dog comment. You can continue to make the dog comments, then you're woofing, then you're doing like, sir. I felt so awkward for Alex and I feel like he gave her like the immediate ick with doing that, but Alex told herself she was going to see this experiment through, so she's like, all right, I'm gonna look past it. But yeah, he was overdoing it a little bit with that. Now, Mexico. I was laughing because that Alex saying, I couldn't really see if he looked good or not. Girl, just tell that man you think he ugly. I mean, I personally don't find Tim that attractive. Maybe she does. But girl, just tell that man he's ugly. Talking about you couldn't see him. But I need Netflix to show us that fight. I definitely need them to show us that fight because I feel like people recall things differently from what it actually happens. And her putting her hand over his mouth, definitely, like, that's a no. Like, girl, I don't know why you did that. That's pushing a boundary. But in terms of like how he was recalling the things that she said, we don't know if that happened or not because Netflix ain't showing us the fight. Okay. And I feel like when they were having that conversation where he's very tit for tat. So her saying that like I get annoyed very easily and like he's like I don't really like to yell and argue. Like even just them and their differences of their how they communicate or like how they may be in arguments, I feel like should have been the first sign to them that they're going to have a hard time learning each other because they act differently. And then that probably played out in this fight and why it ended up so bad, even though we didn't get to see it. But nobody can tell me that Tim wasn't done. Tim was done in Mexico after that fight. You have to just look at his face at the end of the episode when she's hugging him. Like, that man was done through and through. Last but certainly not least, Ashley and Tyler. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The minute I saw Tyler on my screen, I said, no. I said no, and we're not gonna get into the name, but them light skins. Y'all are not to be trusted. I'm sorry. From personal experience, y'all are not to be trusted. So I was like, no. But it did seem that Tyler and Ashley clicked right away, and I did not love that for her. But I said, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and put my own personal, ideas aside and give this man a chance, okay? Now, and the fact that he was like praying with her in the pods, like that warmed my heart. I loved it. And I was like, please, 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 just please don't disappoint me. Like, you're doing all of this. Please don't disappoint me. Because he always had the right answers for everything. Every answer he had was the right answer. And that did make me a little bit skeptical because I'm skeptical of people and I'm not easily impressed. So I'm just like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like, that's just what I kept feeling. I'm like, when's the other shoe gonna drop, right? Now, I feel like we should have paid attention to Tyler when he was talking to the guys and he said that, on the outside, me and Ashley would have never like worked out. I'm cut off in the outside world. I need to know more about that. Why are you cut off in the outside world? And if you do propose to Ashley and y'all go and get married and do all of that, are you going to start acting different in the outside world? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, I feel like I have questions. So I feel like we should have paid attention to that a little bit more. Now, Ashley and Tyler's reveal, it was cute. They seem to really like each other. They're attracted to each other. Although I was getting a little bit annoyed. If you gonna kiss the girl, just kiss the girl. Like, this little peck things was like irritating me. Like, can you actually kiss the girl? See if you guys actually like kissing each other. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that was like irritating me. I was like, hurry up, man, give her a kiss, figure it out. I want to see if the physical connection's there, Now in Mexico, I love there's one big thing I love that Ashley pointed out. She said that she chose to remain abstinent because she felt like she was giving her soul to people. And that is so important because people don't realize soul ties and how important, like how intimate sex is with somebody. When you go that route with somebody, that is the most intimate that you can get with another person. And there's really such thing as soul ties. And I need people to stop taking that stuff so lightly. So I was like so happy she brought that up and she said that because I feel like more people need to be aware of this. Although Tyler was trying to eat her up in that hot tub. I don't know, like, yeah, damn, the girl looked good in her bathing suit, but like, sir, calm down. The cameras are around. We can see y'all. Stop trying to eat her up in the hot tub, okay? And the last thing I'm going to say about them is that when Tyler brought up, basically giving Ashley a heads up of, people are going to come out of the woodwork and start saying, he's not a nice person and stuff like that. I feel like Ashley needed to ask more questions. I feel like my girl Ashley don't ask enough questions. She needs to ask questions because I would have dug into that a little bit deeper because why are they going to say that you're not mean? And are you only trying to save face now so that when I hear something crazy, I already like expected it or, you don't want me to pay attention to that person because can't be trusted. And that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, guys, that is my review of the different couples from In the Pod Straight to Mexico. I feel like overall Garrett and Taylor are the strongest couple. Then maybe Marissa and Ramses, and then Ashley and Tyler. Tim and Alex and Nick and Hannah are just kind of up in the air for me, to be honest with you. Now, I did want to mention a few other notable things that I kind of noticed that are not specific to anything, but I feel like not enough people are asking questions to people who are previously married. As you guys know, both Ramses and Bohdan were previously married, and I feel like Marissa wasn't asking enough questions. Like, I want to know how you were in your previous marriage. Like, yes, you want to focus on yourself and not focus on previous relationships. And maybe that's why I couldn't be on the show, because production would have told me, girl, move on. You can't be asking these questions. But I want to know how you functioned in your marriage. Were you a good husband? Do you recognize your flaws and where you may have dropped the ball to cause your divorce? Was it just on your wife or was it you? Like, I feel like people are not asking enough questions. And I feel like if I'm going to make this big leap and get married, I'm asking you these questions. That's just what it's going to be. The group meetup I felt like was pretty like normal. I feel like this is the first season where we haven't had drama at this group meetup, and mainly that's because there was nobody there that like was almost proposed to, but they went with the other person, and this is like the first time you guys are meeting up. Now Netflix could have had that with Leo and Brittany and Nick and Hannah, but they missed the mark with that one, not picking them to go to Mexico. And their reasoning for that is really stupid too. If you guys don't know the reasoning for that, they say that they have enough budget to only follow so many couples, and they pick the ones that they think are most likely going to make it to the altar, which in my head doesn't make sense, because if you look at the previous seasons, there's a lot of people that you could tell weren't going to make it to the altar and you still send them to Mexico. But okay, if you guys say so. But like, yeah, the guys weren't really ogling the girls or anything. Like, so like, it was really like normal compared to past seasons that we've had. But the girls were kind of lame. Like, you guys were trying to grill the guys and you weren't asking any serious questions. Like, I was literally waiting for the hard questions. All you were asking is, why do you love Alex and why do you love Monica? Like, anybody can make up an answer. Like, okay. And the last thing I want to say is, Netflix, y'all are messy, because that like coming up trailer to see what's going to come up next for the following episodes, you know, them scenes didn't happen like that. You know, they definitely didn't play out like that. You guys are splicing and putting things together, so y'all are messy. I know this is for reality TV to, you know, you want to spice up some drama, put some anticipation, but y'all know y'all being messy. All right, guys, so that is my breakdown and commentary of episodes 1 to 6 of this season of Love is Blind. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree with what I say? Do you have anything you'd like to add? I definitely like to debate about these things and talk about it. So I do want to cut it up with you guys in the comments. So definitely leave your comments. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Put your notification bell on so you know when I release more videos. I am going to be dropping a few more over the next days of the remaining episodes up until the reunion. Make sure that you like the video and you share it with your friends, guys. Share it with your friends and your family. Help me grow my audience and get my videos out there. You know how the YouTube algorithm works. So yeah, I will see you guys next time in the next video, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Peace.